Now let's consider this example. Watch this drawing paper. To read this drawing, all these points you must know. XY line is line of intersection of HP and VP. Projector means line perpendicular to XY line. So this vertical line is projector, and because P and P dash, top view and front view of point P are on this vertical line, we say that this is projector of point P. Similarly, this is projector of point Q. On drawing paper, front view and top view of a point lie on a single projector. Watch here, P and P dash on single vertical line, Q and Q dash on single vertical line. If point Q is in the space, then on drawing paper, its front view is labeled as Q dash and its top view is labeled as Q. Front view above XY line means first quadrant. Top view above XY line, third quadrant. Both the views above XY line means second quadrant, and both views below XY line, that is fourth quadrant. And also you must know that front view gives details with respect to HP and top view gives the details with respect to VP. In which quadrant point P is? Fourth quadrant. If you know this, that both views below XY line, then it is in fourth quadrant. You will able to tell me that point P is in fourth quadrant. Similarly, point Q is in third quadrant because top view is above XY line. Top view above XY line, that is third quadrant. But not only that, how will you come to know that this is top view? Because there is no dash here. So front view is labeled as Q dash if point is Q. Top view is labeled as Q. So here Q is top view because there is no dash here and there is dash here, it's front view. So top view above XY line, so it is in third quadrant. Front view above XY line, it is in first quadrant, and both views above XY line, so it is in second quadrant. Point S is in second quadrant. Now we are having practice of reading the drawing. Now answer my question. There are 4 points involved: point P, point Q, point R and point S. These 4 points are not on this paper. On this paper there are views of these 4 points. These 4 points are somewhere in space. Now I am asking you that which of these 4 points is nearest to HP? Listen to my question. Which of these 4 points is nearest to HP? Now I am asking you the question, which point is nearest to HP? Front view gives the details with respect to HP. So focus on front views of all these 4 points and answer me. Here, front view, watch front view. Forget top view, watch front view. What is it? Front view gives distance from HP. So 50 millimeter is distance of point P from HP. Front view, dash views are front view. Q is 25 millimeter from HP. R is 20 millimeters from HP. And S, again S dash. Watch front views and check. Point S is 45 millimeter from HP. So 50, just focus on front view, 25, 20 and 45. So comparing it, we know that this point, point R is the nearest to the HP. Now answer me, which point is nearest to VP? Now I am asking you detail with respect to VP. Now here detail with respect to VP is involved. So watch top views of all these points. So P, Q, R and S, that is the points labeled without dash, are top views. So 15 millimeter, that is distance of P from VP. 30 millimeter, that is distance of Q from VP. 40, distance of R from VP. And 20, that is distance of S from VP. So which point is nearest to VP? Point P. So this point P, which is in space, from drawing you know that it is nearest to VP. Okay. Now tell me which point is above HP. Again, detail with respect to HP is involved in this question. Which point is above HP? The front view gives detail with respect to HP. So focus on front views of all points. Front views. So P is below HP. Q is below HP. Below HP means below XY line. Simple. Point R is above HP. Point S is above HP. S dash. We are watching front views and answering the question. So we know that point R and S are above HP. Focus on front views and answer for details with respect to HP. Now tell me which 2 points are below HP. So what's the drawing? Again, detail with respect to HP involved here in this question. So focus on front views of points. So point P and point Q, these 2 points are below HP. And that is what we know from drawing. Now tell me which are the 2 points are behind VP. Now listen, behind VP means on drawing paper, behind XY line. So check it. Behind XY line. Top views, watch the top view. So point Q gives details with respect to VP. Top view gives detail with respect to VP. Top view gives detail with respect to VP. So these 2 top views, Q and S, are behind XY line. So we know that point Q and point S are behind VP. Similarly, point P, top view of point P, and top view of point R, these 2 top views are in front of XY line. Top view give detail with respect to VP. Remember, with respect to VP, we use words in front of VP and behind VP. And top view gives details with respect to VP. So focus on top views, which are in front of VP, means on drawing paper in front of XY line. So here P and R are in front of XY line. So P and R, these 2 points, point P and point R, which are in space, that these 2 points are in front of VP. Okay, so let's try to write this position of these points in words. So point P is 50 millimeters below HP, because front view is below XY line, and 15 millimeters in front of VP. 15 millimeters in front of VP, and also both views are below XY line, so we'll write point P is in 4th quadrant. Okay, point Q is 25 millimeters below HP, because it is front view and front view gives details with respect to HP. So it is 25 millimeters from HP. Not only that, below XY line means 25 millimeters below HP, and 30 millimeters behind VP. Remember, this portion of drawing paper is in front of VP, and this portion of drawing paper is behind VP. So point Q is behind VP, 30 millimeters behind VP. Point R is 40 millimeters before that. So point Q is 30 millimeters behind VP. Also, top view above XY line. For point Q, top view is above XY line. So we know that point Q is in the 3rd quadrant. Now point R is, front view gives details with respect to HP, and with respect to HP we use these words above and below. That is why I am saying that point R is 20 millimeters above HP, and top view gives detail with respect to VP, and with respect to VP we should use these words in front of VP, behind VP. So this space is in front of VP, so we'll say that 40 millimeters in front of VP, and front view above XY line means point R is in the 1st quadrant. Now point S. So point S is, here it is front view. So this is distance from HP. Front view gives distance from HP, and it is above XY line. So we'll say 45 millimeters above HP, and top view gives detail with respect to VP. So this is distance from VP. So don't say 20 millimeter above VP. What you should say? 20 millimeters behind VP. So 20 millimeters behind VP. and both views above XY line, so we'll say point S is in the second quadrant. Now listen, if there is letter A in front of you, how much time you take to understand that the particular symbol in front of you is letter A? Of course, no time. Just look at that symbol and you know that it is letter A. Similarly, if this drawing is in front of you, you know these details in no time at all. Initially, little practice is required and you will be able to read drawing very easily. One more example. Watch here. To understand all these details, you must know these points. Front view above first quadrant, top view above third quadrant, both views above second quadrant and both views below fourth quadrant. Front view gives details with respect to HP and top view gives details with respect to VP. So remember all these points. Now, this is top view and here it is front view. So point P is below HP. Now important. What is distance of point P from VP? So top view gives distance from VP. So what is distance of this top view from XY line? 0. The point P, top view of point P is exactly on XY line. And top view gives distance from VP. So distance from VP is 0. That means point P is in the VP. Point P is one of the points in VP. VP is a plane and there are infinite points in the VP. P is one of those points. So how we describe position of point P? Point P is not in any particular quadrant. We say that it is on a VP but 50 millimeters below HP. So point P is 50 millimeters below HP and in the VP. Now watch here point Q. What is distance of point Q from HP? 0. So point Q is in HP. Point Q is in HP. And top view gives distance from VP and it is 30 millimeters. So we say that point Q is 30 millimeters behind VP. It is in HP and 30 millimeters behind VP. Now what is distance of point R from HP? 40 millimeters. Front view gives distance from HP. And what is distance of point R from VP? So again 40 millimeters. But now you should say point R is 40 millimeters in front of VP. So point R is 40 millimeters below HP and 40 millimeters in front of VP. Both views here, remember, front view and top view are overlapped here. So front view and top view, both views are below XY line. Means point is in fourth quadrant. So we'll write point R is 40 millimeter below HP and 40 millimeter in front of VP. Point R is in the fourth quadrant because both views are below XY line. Now here also top view and front view of point S are overlapping here. And not only they are overlapping on XY line. Now what is distance of point S from HP? 0. And what is distance of point S from VP? That is also 0 because top view is on XY line. So we say that point S is in both the reference plane. Means point S is in HP as well as in VP. XY line is line of intersection of HP and VP. What does that mean? XY line is in HP as well as in VP. Means all points on XY line are in HP as well as in VP. So we also can say that point S is on XY line. So watch here, point S is on XY line. Now just to make you visualize this, here I have drawn a three-dimensional diagram. So vertical reference plane, this is horizontal reference plane, XY line is line of intersection of HP and VP, and point P, I have used capital letter, this is actual point P. Watch here, this point P is in VP. So when you observe from front, you will able to see that vertical distance as 50 millimeters. But if you observe this point P from top, you will find that point P is on XY line. So from top, that means its top view on XY line, and from front, that is its front view is 50 millimeters below XY line. Now here it is point Q, and point Q is behind XY line, but point Q is exactly on HP. So from top you will able to see that distance of point Q from XY line, and it is 30 millimeters. Correct? This distance is 30 millimeter. That is why we say that top view gives a distance from VP. But if you watch from front, you will get its front view on XY line, because distance of point Q from HP is 0. Now here it is point R, it is below HP and in front of VP. It is 40 millimeters in front of VP, that is R dash, and it is 40 millimeters below HP. So when you project R on HP, drawing perpendicular line, if you project this point R on HP, here you will get its top view. So distance between top view and R, how much is that vertical distance? 40 millimeters, because point R is 40 millimeters below HP, and this distance of point R from VP is also 40 millimeters. Now if you watch point R from top, then its top view on HP, that is a project by drawing vertical line or perpendicular to HP line, and you will get top view of point R here. So top view, from top you will able to see this distance, that is top view gives distance from VP, and from front you will able to see this distance. And when we close fourth quadrant, R and R dash, they overlap. Now consider point S. It is exactly on XY line. So here it is point S. I have labeled it with capital letter S because in this three-dimensional diagram I am showing you actual point S. Now watch it from front, and you will that point S will appear on XY line. That means front view is on XY line. And when you watch it from top, again you will that point S will appear on XY line. Read this problem. Draw projections of the following points. Point A is 40 millimeters above HP and 30 millimeters behind VP. Point B is 15 millimeters below HP and 40 millimeters behind VP. Point C is 40 millimeters below HP and 20 millimeters in front of VP. Point D is 20 millimeters above HP and 25 millimeters in front of VP. So projections of points you are asked to draw. So of course there must be first XY line. So let's draw that XY line. So set roller, it's a drawing instrument, can be used to draw parallel lines. So here is the roller. Set roller, try to understand, set roller with horizontal edge of drawing paper and roll it. Don't apply any pressure on that edge of the roller. You simply lift that roller slightly and then roll it. To roll the roller on drawing paper, hold it in between those red colored roller, lift the edge of the roller and roll it up to the desired position, and then you draw line, so that you will able to reduce constructional errors in your drawing. So take care of that. Set roller with horizontal edge of drawing paper, roll it properly up to the desired position and draw horizontal line, that is XY line. Immediately label XY line. And now we'll start drawing projector. What do you mean by projector? Line perpendicular to XY line, means vertical line. So there are 4 points A, B, C, D. You want to draw projectors of 4 points, means 4 vertical lines. Now XY line is horizontal line and you are going to draw vertical line. So don't draw approximately vertical line. That vertical line must be exactly at a 90 degrees. So how to draw it quickly, I'll tell you. Use protractor. But how you are going to use this protractor? Axis of symmetry of protractor, simply set it with XY line. and the straight edge of the protractor will give you the projector. So here we have drawn the projector, and there are 4 points involved here. So we are going to draw 4 projectors. So set roller with the first vertical line and roll it. And this is how we draw 4 projectors. So projector of A, projector of point B, projector of point C, and projector of point D. Draw projections means draw front view and top view. So point A is 45 millimeter above HP. Simple. Above HP means you measure above XY line. And front view gives distance from HP. So point A is 45 millimeter above HP. And which view gives distance from HP? Front view. Front view gives distance from HP. So it should be front view. So label with a dash and use small letters. So point A is 45 millimeter above HP and 30 millimeters behind VP. Remember, here it is XY line. This side is in front of VP and this upper side is behind VP. So 30 millimeters behind VP, so simply measure 30 millimeters behind XY line, and that is top view of point A. So that's all. Both views are above XY line. So now you know that point A is in second quadrant. Now point A is in second quadrant. Have you visualized that point A in second quadrant? No, not at all. It's not necessary at all. From drawing you should understand that. Both views are above XY line. Means point is in second quadrant. It's that simple. Point B is 15 below HP. Below HP on drawing paper, below XY line. Simple. And this is distance from HP, means it is front view. Front view gives distance from HP. 40 millimeters behind VP. So measure 40 millimeters behind XY line, and that is B. Simple. Point C is 40 millimeters below HP. So 40 millimeters below XY line. And since it is distance from HP, it must be front view, because front view gives distance from HP. Point C is 40 below HP, that is over, point and 20 millimeters in front of VP. So measure 20 millimeters in front of XY line, and that is top view of point C. Have you realized point C is in fourth quadrant? How come? Both views below XY line. And point B is in third quadrant. How come? Top view is above XY line. Take help of letter T. T, top view above, third quadrant. Take help of letter F, front view above, first quadrant. Now check point D is 20 millimeter above HP. Above HP means above XY line. Above HP, above, to measure that distance above XY line. And it is distance from HP, and front view gives distance from HP. So label it with dash. Point D is 20 millimeters above HP and 25 millimeter in front of VP. So measure 25 millimeter in front of XY line. Top view gives distance from VP. That is why this point you should label as D, because 25 millimeter is distance from VP. Now watch the drawing. Front view above means point D is in first quadrant. Okay, one more example. Draw projections of the following points. Point P is in the third quadrant and 30 millimeters and 40 millimeters from HP and VP respectively. Now wait. Don't waste your time in reading this entire statement. Draw projections of the following points. What do you mean by that? Draw front view and top view of following points. How many points are there? P, Q, R and S. So 4 projectors are involved. So start with XY line. So draw XY line. Label it as XY line. Then draw 4 projectors. Point P is in the third quadrant. 30 millimeters and 40 millimeters from HP and VP respectively. Have you realized that nowhere it is mentioned that whether it is above or below or in front or behind? These words are not used at all here. It's just distance from HP 30 millimeters and distance from VP is 40 millimeters. That is what mentioned. Each and every statement suggest you something. Bring it on paper immediately. So when we read the first statement in the problem, and what it is, draw projections of following points. That suggested us that there is XY line required and there are projectors required. How many points are there? 4 points. So we drew 4 projectors. Now next statement, point P, third quadrant. Point P is in third quadrant. What does that mean? Top view is above. Simple, third quadrant, take help of letter T. Top view above and front view below, that means. So top view above, and top view gives distance from VP. So 40 millimeter distance is distance from VP to be measured upwards and 30 millimeters to be measured downwards. So 30 millimeters. This is distance from HP, so P dash, and 40 millimeter, it is distance from VP, that is P. Simple, what I am telling you, try to understand. Point P is in third quadrant. That suggested that top view above means distance from VP above. 40 millimeter above we have measured and 30 millimeters below we have measured. And this is how we have labeled top view and front view, because this 40 millimeter is distance from VP, this point is P, and 30 millimeter is distance from HP. So this point is to be labeled with dash, so P dash. Okay, watch here. Point Q is in first quadrant. So this is what I am telling you. Each and every statement suggests you something. So try to bring it on paper immediately. What does that mean? Listen. Point Q is in the first quadrant. What does it suggest you? That is, front view is above XY line. So front view is above XY line. So front view gives distance from HP. And what is distance from HP? Not 25. 25 and 50 from VP and HP respectively. So front view above, front view gives distance from HP. That means a 50 millimeters must be above. And distance from HP front view gives. Front view is above XY line. So this distance 25 millimeter to be measured below. When we say front view above, so it is understood that front view above, top view below. Had it been both views above, we would have used clear statement that both views above. So front view above, and front view gives distance from HP. So we have measured distance from HP upwards and distance of VP downwards. Okay. So front view above, so point Q is in first quadrant. Now point R is in second quadrant. Point R is in second quadrant. Means both views above. So both distances to be measured upwards. So what is distance from HP and VP? Let's read. 45 millimeter from both the reference plane. So both these distances are 45 millimeters. So measure 45 millimeters upwards. And that is point R as well as R dash. Front view and top view both above XY line. So in which quadrant point R is? It is in second quadrant. Both views above second quadrant. Both views below fourth quadrant. Both views above second quadrant and both views below fourth quadrant. Simple. Now point S is in fourth quadrant. What do you mean by fourth quadrant? Both views below. So measure both these distance below XY line. 20 millimeters and 35 millimeters from HP and VP respectively. So 20 millimeter is distance from HP. So front view must be 20 millimeters and top view must be at 35 millimeter, and both views below XY line. So watch here, measure both distances below. And 20 millimeter is distance from HP, so that is front view, and top view gives distance from VP. Both views below means fourth quadrant. Okay, we'll meet in our next video. Thank you.